In Unit 7, opener number 10, we have another formula or literal equation where we're asked to solve for one of the variables in terms of all of the other variables. This time we're asked to solve for I, and the thing that makes this one tricky is that this I is tied up in two different places. So it seems at first glance like it's going to be very difficult to get I by itself. But if we remember what we've seen in a previous opener, if I look closely at my expression on the right-hand side, I see that the I is actually a greatest common factor of both of the terms. So, sometimes when you're solving a literal equation, if it seems like your variable is tied up in two different places, you might have to factor it out. So my left-hand side I'm going to keep as just p. On the right-hand side I'm going to factor out an I from both of these terms. And then just like the last time we factored, we need to think about doing the distributive property in reverse in order to get two factors that multiply together to equal I plus IRT. Well, when I take an I out of I, and I think about what I can multiply I by to get I can multiply I by 1, and that equals I. Plus, if I think about what I need to multiply I by to get IRT, that would be RT. And now I can do my distributive property to check and make sure that I factored correctly. I times 1 is I, plus I times RT is IRT. Now what we've done is we've factored the right-hand side, so now the I is by itself, and it's going to make this much easier to take this equation and solve it for I. The I is attached to the other factor by multiplication, so all we need to do in order to isolate it is to do the inverse operation of multiplication, which is division, and divide both sides by 1 plus RT. What I do to the right-hand side, I also have to do to the left-hand side. Divide by 1 plus RT. And now we have, in fact, isolated our I, and I equals P over 1 plus RT. So now we have solved another literal equation, one that was a little bit more complicated than some of the ones that we've seen earlier. So the big idea behind this one is if your variable is tied up in two different places, try to factor it out. That's step number 1. Then once you've done that, then you can just continue to solve using inverse operations. Now you should be ready to solve any literal equation that comes your way.